Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my page. If you've never been here before, then welcome. My name is Sarah. I make videos on self-development and faith-based videos. For this video for today, I'm really excited to share this topic with you guys. I'm really excited to share this perspective. As you guys know, a lot of the times in my videos, I'm just sharing with you my perspective. And this is something I've wanted to talk about for a long time, and I never knew when a good time was, but I think that any time is a good time. So in this video for today, I wanted to talk to you guys about hookup culture, about sexual purity, about saving yourself for marriage, and the reasons why people do save themselves for marriage, religious and non-religious purposes. So I'm excited to share this with you guys because culture tells us one thing, society tells us one thing, and I want to say something else. And again, I'm not expecting everyone to hear this video and run out and make this decision. But I do hope that this could be thought-provoking. Okay, and before I begin, something that I wanted to say is the one thing that I am not doing in this video is shaming people for their sexual history, for the choices that they make, and for unwanted sexual experiences. This video is just for me to share with you guys a different perspective on this topic, and it's for future choices going forward if this is something that resonates with you. Okay, so as you guys might know, if you know anything about me or if you watched my testimony video, I had a completely different perspective on this topic 2.5 years ago. I thought totally different on this topic. As you guys know, like I wasn't always born again Christian. I really was doing my own thing for most of my life. And I just want to share a little bit of background about my own personal story of how I was convicted of this decision to share with you guys. I hope a lot of people can relate to it. And then I'm going to get into some practical reasons of why people decide to save sex for marriage, but it's also just about hookup culture in general. Okay, so without getting into too much detail, obviously I was not living as a born-again Christian. I was just kind of doing my own thing. I did have this like sense of my own morals and values, I guess, for the beginning part of my life. And then I think later on I started to be I don't know if I would use the word, I guess I would say influenced. Maybe I won't use the word brainwashed. I felt like I was influenced by society and by culture, hookup culture, that it is empowering to give our bodies away, that it is freeing, that we're taking our power back, and that type of thing. So I started to think that maybe I'm a bit like too prude and I need to adjust to society because, hey, we are living in the 21st century, so why not? But here's the important thing that I noticed, and this came with self-development and with self-awareness. And what I realized over that time was that I was giving myself away because it made me feel validated. It made me feel better about myself. It made me feel desired. It made me feel lusted after. It made me feel loved. So I was kind of aware of this, but it didn't really like fully hit me until later on. And that's when I changed my decision about everything. So this was 2 years ago, summer of 2018. Again, in my testimony video, I talk about how that's when God really convicted me. And then I had my water baptism as a born again Christian. So it was way later, towards the end of 2018. And I mean, I knew, like in my head, I had kind of wanted to make different decisions. Like I wanted to say, yeah, I'm going to save myself for marriage going forward. But it was something that I wanted, but I wasn't convicted of. That's the thing is that we can know something logically, but unless it is a belief, unless it's something that we truly believe with our hearts, it's hard to put it into action. And so that's when this was really revealed to me of my true intentions behind giving myself away in that way. So I'm going to share that with you guys right now. So what I basically realized is that if I was put in a certain circumstance, if everything lined up and the situation was perfect, I found it very difficult to not give into that. Sorry, I'm just trying to fast forward this part here because I don't want this video to be all about my experiences. So basically then I went to work during that time. It was a super long, boring shift. I was by myself and I basically had time to like stare at the carpet for like 3 hours straight. Whenever God speaks to me, it's like he just changes things overnight. He can just take away addictions like just like that. And what I really felt that I was shown, I was so convicted of during that time. Keep in mind, this was a real stronghold in my life. This was something that I felt I was not able to control. When you're not able to control something, when you're not able to say no in a situation, that's for me why I knew something was wrong. I was not able to think in my right mind at those moments. What I really felt that I was shown is you don't have an addiction. What you have is the same desire that we all have, which is that feeling of emptiness inside of us, to feel whole, to feel loved, to feel wanted, to feel understood, and to be close to someone. And I really struggled with my loneliness of not feeling understood. So I know for me that that was the closest thing that I could feel to being known, being understood, being loved, being desired, all of those things that I wanted, that God wanted to give me, but that I was looking for in someone else. And I really felt in that moment that he was saying, like, you are so precious and valuable, and you're not gaining more value when you give yourself away. In fact, you're giving your value away, that you are actually disrespecting your body and yourself more. And so I went home that night after work, and I was playing a Lisa Bevere sermon. Lisa Bevere is this like really powerful, amazing Christian leader, and she basically was talking about how before she was born again, she was very promiscuous in college, and then she, became born again Christian, and then she heard God say to her loud and clear, "How many more men do you have to let hold you until you feel whole?" When I heard this, when I was eating my spaghetti or whatever I was eating in my kitchen, I was literally like, are you talking to me? I feel personally victimized. It was like, it just struck my heart. I was like, oh my gosh. And so from that point forward, I was totally convicted of this decision. I really started to see it differently. And keep in mind, this came with self-awareness, of being aware of why I was making the decisions that I was. It's actually not obvious. It's actually not obvious when we make decisions. A lot of them are just us making subconscious decisions. So the self-awareness of being aware of why I was making these decisions in the first place, working on my self-development of building up my self-worth, because if I don't believe that I deserve otherwise and that I am valuable, that's going to be very hard for me to accept. I was like, I want to make a promise to myself, to God, to my future husband, going forward of this decision. Okay, so here's what I wanted to share. And I'm not going to put a blanket statement over top of everyone. I don't want this to be triggering or for anyone to feel like they're being attacked in any way. I'm just sharing my perspective on how I feel about this. I feel, at least this is how it was for myself, and I know a lot of women feel this way. I feel that the reason why a lot of women give themselves away is for love, is because they want to feel like they're being obviously lusted after, but they want to feel desired. They want to feel loved. They want to feel special. They want to feel intimate with someone. And I believe that the reason a lot of men do that is because it feeds their ego, being able to conquer another woman. And, the more people that they can sleep with, that it actually feeds their ego, which at the end of the day is kind of the same thing, because it's still feeding their value. Besides the fact that we all have human needs and desires and hormones and emotions and all of those things, I don't know if that makes sense. I really can't think of any other term to describe it. So there's this video, I'm gonna put it here, and it is 10 reasons not to have sex before marriage. And the video is by Rob Kowalski. So on YouTube, I'm going to put the link below, and then on Instagram, I'll just type it out. And there's also another video that I'm going to put here, which is 30 non-religious reasons to wait for marriage. And that's by Emily Wilson. So I definitely would recommend to check out those videos, but I just wanted to share with you guys some of both of their points. I'm going to read a couple off to you. I'm just going to state them in bullet point form. You can agree or disagree with this, but again, the point is to bring a different perspective, a refreshing perspective from generally what we're being offered. One of the first reasons is that sex in relationships actually masks a lot of issues. I definitely agree with that, and I think it can be a huge distraction in the relationship, because once that stops and you start to realize, hey, you know what, we're not on the same page with a lot of things. We don't genuinely enjoy each other's company unless we have that one factor. It brings a lot more clarity into the relationship to not have those emotions that are clouding everything and the fogginess because of bonding with that person and knowing whether or not this is the person that you do want to spend the rest of your life with. He's also saying in the video about how it helps to not waste each other's time anymore, or not waste as much time, because if you're with that person, if you're in a committed relationship and you're not sure if you want to get married or not, if you take away that one aspect, you really do want to be with that person, then what's the harm in waiting until you get married, as opposed to not many people are going to just get married so that they can have sex. It really helps you to evaluate the commitment of marriage, and if you truly do want to spend the rest of your life with this person, if you don't feel like you want to wait for them for marriage, then it might bring you a lot of clarity that, hey, you know what? I actually don't want to spend the rest of my life with this person, and I'm not willing to wait for that. Here's one from Emily Wilson, which is, treating my sexuality with respect reminds me of my value. Another one is that it makes relationships a lot less painful if they don't end up working out because of the factor of not having bonded in that way. It's a sure way to know in the relationship if you're being lusted after or if you are loved because that person is not benefiting physically. It also helps you to not rely on that to be able to bond with that person. I think what's really cool about it is that when you build a relationship and you have that strong foundation of really getting to know each other, knowing your core values, knowing everything about each other, you are building a really intimate relationship without being intimate. And a lot of people think that intimacy is physical, and it's really not. That's another aspect of it. It really helps to not feel like you have to rely on that form of bonding, because you built the relationship on this really strong foundation of getting to know each other and being intimate emotionally. And so therefore, maybe later on in marriage, if you go through lulls of it not being as exciting as it used to be, no matter what, you don't have to rely on that. You rely on the solid foundation that you built together. Another point that she was reading off in this video, and this is not to trigger anyone at all, is the freedom when you know that you don't have to worry about unwanted pregnancies or STIs or someone not texting you back, someone ghosting you, someone using you for your body, someone calling you an Uber right after, or like not being there in the morning when you wake up. For me, it's showing respect to my body. It's showing respect to my future husband. It's showing respect, for me, most importantly, to God. It's showing respect for myself. So here's the thing with this video. I don't know what to expect. I'm making this video because I think that someone needs to hear this message. Everyone is at different places in their life. There could be someone that is listening to this who they've already made the decision that they want to save themselves for marriage, and that this just reconfirmed it for them. There could be someone listening to this video who has never thought of this before, and maybe is going to consider this, and maybe this is a seed that has been planted as a new belief. And there could be people listening to this who maybe they're not going to go to that extreme, but maybe they're going to reconsider some decisions going forward or reassess their own motives. I really just want to normalize this decision, because this is something that I heard people talking about growing up, sometimes within the Christian community. And I remember being 15 and thinking, like, honestly, we're in the 21st century. That's just the weirdest thing ever. We're not living in those times anymore. And I really used to think like that. And then, I got to the point where I was really being influenced by culture, hookup culture, and just thinking maybe I just need to experiment more and all of those things. And for me personally, it left me feeling a lot more empty. And it really made me realize that I was relying on someone else to validate me and make me feel more valuable and therefore loved and important. And so I get it now that sex is a good thing, but that God wants us to have that good thing within a certain context because He wants to protect us. And lastly, I wanted to make this very clear that I will not judge the people around me for the decisions that they make. I'm very much involved in the same culture. Again, I made all my own decisions, and I did anything that I wanted to for 26 years of my life. And also that, like, God is not mad at you for the decisions that you make. He actually just really cares about you, and He wants to protect you. And the very, very last thing that I wanted to say, because I needed to hear this message myself, this is for women, for men, for boys, for girls, whoever is watching, that no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, you are so valuable. You are so loved by the Creator of this universe. There's nothing that you can do to take that away or to add to that. And you never, ever, ever, under any circumstance, have to give your body away, give yourself away to anyone or to multiple people to feel desire, to feel loved, to feel valuable, to feel respected, or to feel popular. You already have all of that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, for watching it with an open mind and for hearing my perspective. And I definitely would recommend to check out those other two videos. They are non-religious reasons for saving ourselves for marriage. Again, I know that the name just sounds so cliche and how stupid, but I can truly tell you that from that point forward, I have never felt more myself. I have felt so much more sure about who I am. I am so excited one day to build a foundation with my husband based off of him loving me for who I am and not how I can benefit him in that way. And then eventually within marriage, that's something that can be shared. So if you guys need any resources, if you have any questions for me, definitely reach out to me. And if you want to share this video with someone for perspective, then definitely do that. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.